Hey, welcome to the Ultimate Video Pitch Workshop bonus content. First off, for everybody who left comments, thank you very much. I read all of the comments. And for those of you who expressed some disappointment that we didn't get to cover all the content because we ran out of time, I share in that disappointment as well, which is why I'm making this quick video, which is to make up for that and share with you some of the content that I was hoping to get to that we just ran out of time for. Now, if you're watching this video on YouTube or one of the other social media channels and you're wondering what is the Video Pitch Workshop, it was a program that we created exclusively for a company called Dent Global. If you'd like to learn more about them, I'll put their information up on the screen, but they are a growth accelerator for entrepreneurs to help them stand out and scale up and make a dent in the universe. And they have a very cool 5-step methodology to help you become a person of influence in your industry. So check out the website, learn a little bit more about it. And then if you become a member, then you can have access to the video pitch workshop that we did. But having said that, let's get back into the content here. There was a couple things that I wanted to talk about outside of the scripting of the pitch that I thought would be beneficial for you. And a couple of them are just how to use your camera in the right way to get the best effect. So, a couple of things. First thing I want to talk about is headspace. Headspace is the amount of gap that you have between the top of your head and the top of the screen. A lot of times people will inherently position their head in the middle of the screen, equidistant from the sides and the top. And what you'll find is that that actually diminishes your level of credibility. I'll give you an example. If you look at this video right now, you can see this woman and she's having a conversation and she's got very little head space at the top of her head to the top of the screen. And that is intentional, and that is the best position placement. Now let's compare that to the exact same person saying the exact same thing, but this time with their head spaced in the middle of the frame. And you can see that instantly it creates a shift in how you perceive her. All of a sudden, there's not as much authority, there's not as much credibility. Now, if you really need to get a feeling for this, we can put them side by side, and you can definitely, when you see side by side, you can look at one versus the other and tell immediately which one is more commanding, which one has more authority, and they are literally the exact same video. I just dropped her head down. Headspace is an important thing. Please make sure that you have as little space between the top of your head and the top of the screen as possible. Even sometimes it's okay to cut off the top of your head, depending upon what effect you're going for. The second thing that I want to talk about is how you smile on camera. I know that sounds kind of silly, just telling somebody to smile on camera, but it makes an absolute huge difference, especially during a video pitch where you've only got about 2 minutes to win them over and get them to do something like click a button, subscribe, or something like that. You want to have as big and as bright of a smile as you can on your face. And the reason for that is because of the way cameras interpret facial expressions. You know, you've heard the old adage that the camera adds 10 pounds. Well, the reason why it does that is because it flattens everything out. Whereas if you and I were in person, you would be able to tell that my nose is in front of my ears and so on, and there's that three-dimensional perceptual position that you can feel and you can see. But on video, all of that's gone, and my nose looks like the same. And what happens is it creates really weird effects. Like, for example, when I put my hands up here, all of a sudden I have these gigantor hands, right? So you've got to be careful of that. And what happens is when you don't smile enough, what happens is a normal expression on your face looks like you're a little bit pissed off. So in fact, here's a great example. If you look at this split screen, you can see that I am saying the exact same word. In fact, I'm actually reading the exact same script from a teleprompter on this. And just look at that. Which one would you rather listen to? Which one would you rather watch, right? I've taken out the words specifically so you can focus on the nonverbals, and it becomes quite obvious the power of a smile. How do you know you've smiled enough on your pitch videos? If your cheeks hurt by the time you're done recording the video, chances are you smiled enough. If your cheeks don't hurt, you probably didn't smile enough. And by the way, on that sample video, I don't think I even smiled as much as I probably could have or should have on a video pitch. You really want to have a nice, big, bright smile, all right? All right, now the third one's a little bit weird, which is I want you to blink a lot, all right? Especially if you're reading a teleprompter. All right? When the cameras hit us, sometimes we tend to get into that fight or flight mode, right? And the eyes open up a little bit. And if you're talking, right, and you're not having any kind of blinking, what ends up happening is you could even be excited, right? But you end up looking a little bit terrified, right? So what you want to do is you just want to blink, right? And you want to blink more than you normally would, especially if you're going to be reading a teleprompter. And we'll get to those skills here in a second. But blinking is absolutely essential. Now, don't do it so much that it looks like you've got something in your eyes, but you generally want to blink more on camera than you would even in the real world. Blink and smile. Those are your two biggest things I can share with you. Blink, smile, and then Headspace, right? But that's an easy one, right? These two, they take a little bit of practice. Blinking, smiling will absolutely make your videos far more effective. Now, we talked about teleprompter a second ago. What about that? Should you use a teleprompter? I say yes. It allows you to stay consistent, allows you to make sure that you're on message and you're not rambling like I probably am right now because I'm not using my teleprompter on this one. I wanted to just set up a camera really quick and get this content out to you as quickly as I can, so I didn't script it all out. But I think you should, especially for a video script. But if you're going to use a teleprompter, I'm begging you, invest the money in a good teleprompter kit. Don't just download a teleprompter app and put your phone or your iPad on selfie mode and record. And the reason for that is because you absolutely have to make sure that the lens of the camera is behind the actual words, not off to the left or to the right or above or below. In fact, if you look at this teleprompter, the way it's set up, the camera goes directly behind the glass and then the iPad sits down and it reflects back up onto the glass. So as you're reading it, you're looking like you're looking directly into the lens, and that is what you want. All right, now I'll go ahead and demonstrate what it looks like when you're reading a teleprompter on an app without using an actual teleprompter kit. So if I were reading a teleprompter right now and I was using an iPad or an iPhone, the text would be here and I wouldn't be looking into the lens. I call this the Michelle Bachmann. Do you remember the political rebuttal for, I guess it would have been what? Obama's presentation? State of the Union? She was speaking, and she was speaking to a different camera that she was favoring, but all of the networks were using a different camera, and so she ended up speaking off camera like this, and it was just this weird, odd look because she was trying to connect with the audience, and she couldn't because she wasn't looking at the audience's face, unless you were tuned into that one weird network that used that one particular camera. So this is very awkward. It doesn't allow you to connect as emotionally with somebody as it would if you were looking directly into the lens. And that's what teleprompter kits allow you to do. Now, I will say this. If you are going to use a teleprompter, and you're going to use a teleprompter kit, that's great. Practice a lot. Reading a teleprompter is a skill and it takes practice, and it's not, in fact, it actually goes against most of the things you would normally do when you're reading for real. Like typically when you read, you lock up your shoulders and your neck so you can keep things straight. This is what I call the Al Gore. You're right, you just kind of get your neck all locked up and it doesn't look very comfortable because that's how people read. Well, you want to actually kind of have your neck moving around. In fact, you almost want to move your head around more than you normally would when you're reading a teleprompter, as opposed to just normal speak. And you have to make sure you're blinking and you have to make sure you're smiling. So smile, blink, and be a bobblehead. Those three things are absolutely crucial to really make the teleprompter feel natural. And here's a pro tip. Put mistakes into your teleprompter. Because very rarely do people speak eloquently, perfectly, all the time without any ums or ahs or self-corrections. So stick an or an ah in your script. Put a self-correction in the script. It might sound something like, there's 6 things which I think are really, and actually type that text out to where it says there are 5. No, actually 6. Put that into the teleprompter and it'll allow you to come across far more human and far less robotic. All right, now let's talk about lighting. You want to make sure that the lighting is good. Nowadays you can buy ring lights very affordably. I highly recommend I don't even know if it's Neewer or Neewer. I'm not exactly sure how to say it, but it's Neewer. They have some great lights. They have ring lights. They also have these things called Pancake lights, which are the ones that I use and the ones that I'm actually using in my studio right now. They create a real nice, soft, smooth look. They're really cool. They're not cheap, but they are worth it if you're doing a lot of video. So definitely, at least at the very minimum, get a ring light. But I recommend the Pancake lights by Neewer or Neewer, however you say it. And let's talk about webcams. If you're going to use a camera, the webcam that I've been using a lot lately and I highly recommend is the Mevo webcam. You can actually get a kit of 3 of them for $1,000 bucks. You can get one for about 400 bucks. And I was a little nervous on actually using a Mevo webcam, like buying one for 500 bucks, until I got it and I saw the software. It allows you tremendous flexibility in terms of lighting and zooms, and it gives you this app that you use on your iPad. So you can do artificial zooms, ins and outs, and it's just got all sorts of cool stuff. If you're looking for a good camera, I recommend that. Of course, if you want to go one step higher, get an actual DSLR camera. Nowadays, you can get those things for probably about the same amount of money. They're a lot heavier, they're a lot bulkier. You've got to make sure you have a good mic system with them. And it may be worth it if you're doing a lot of videos. But otherwise, the Mevo camera is incredible. Well, let's talk about audio. If you're going to record videos yourself, you need to make sure you're using the right kind of audio. Whatever you do, the iPhone and the Android smartphones, they have horrible microphones. Don't use them. The Mevo camera that I mentioned during the camera actually has quite a pretty good microphone, but I really do recommend getting a lapel mic and connecting it directly into whatever camera it is that you're using, so you have nice, clear, clean, direct sound. Here's the weird part about good video. Good video is all about the audio, not necessarily the video. We can actually tolerate a little bit of bad lighting, we can tolerate low resolution, but if it sounds echoey or weird, it just creates this cheapness to it. But if you can get a really good microphone, I highly recommend it. By the way, you can get, there's a microphone kit for smartphones that you can get on Amazon, and it's got 2 microphones with like 20 foot of cable, and I think it's like 40, 50 bucks. I'll make sure that there's a link there for you as well. In fact, I'm gonna make sure that with this video, I have in the comment section all of the links to every bit of product that I've been talking about here to help you out if you're looking for some quick references to going to get some quick kits. All right, there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please leave a comment in the space below. In fact, like and subscribe, and that way, every time I come up with a new video training tip, you'll be the first to find out. Until then, please, let's all try a little harder to be a little better. Have a great day.